Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Expert, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these live streams every single day. So if you are new here, please don't forget to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We are going to talk about the BNB red alert alarm that we have seen today. We're also going to take a look at the SEC charging Bittrex. So if you are interested, make sure to stay tuned, and we also have some Bitcoin analysis at the end of today's stream. Let's get straight into the price of Bitcoin. Let's see what it's currently sitting at. We have Bitcoin sat at $29,900, up just 0.05% in the last 24 hours. We have seen a slight pullback, but nothing too much, nothing that I'm concerned about. We still have some major levels of support holding pretty strongly. Other from that, we have Ethereum sat at $2,110, up 0.78% in the last 24 hours. So again, a nice move to the upside, and we are up 10% in the last 7 days for Ethereum. Very nice to see. And we will be talking towards the end of today's stream the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum's performance, seeing how the chart looks for ETH Bitcoin as well. So make sure to stay tuned to the end if you are interested in that. Just checking in on the chat. Jason says it's a little bit choppy again today as well. Something I'm continuing to work on. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to fix this issue, but I'm looking into it. Hopefully we can get something sorted so that the videos are less choppy. But until then, I hope you don't mind. Let's take a look at the first piece of news we have for today's stream. Let's get this all set up correctly. We first of all have the BNB chain issues warning against 191 fake tokens and dApps. So BNB chain has alerted users to make too many fake tokens and dApps within the chain in a red alarm announcement. Now, this is an issue that we have. Well, it's not an issue we have in cryptocurrency. It's just something that we have to be aware of. Anybody can make a cryptocurrency token. Anybody can make the project. It's so easy to do. It's literally a copy and paste and deploy. It's not complicated at all. And this is why we see a lot of fake applications and fake projects being created on the different networks. We've seen many different projects being created very, very quickly. I remember one that springs to mind. I think it was on the Ethereum network, but still. We had Squid Game, a really popular show that was on Netflix, and somebody created a Squid Game token, and they just added a little bit of code into that smart contract that said no investors could sell their tokens, only the original creators. So everybody was buying and buying and buying Squid Game token. It was going up and up and up. Everyone thought they were making a huge amount of money, when really they couldn't realize any of those profits, and the original creators could sell their tokens and take all of the liquidity out of that market. And that gained a huge amount of attention, and it just shows how people can make these projects really quickly, deploy them onto the network, and then they can take advantage of investors. You do need to be incredibly careful and always do your due diligence when you're choosing which project you would like to invest into, and make sure you are using the correct smart contract address when you are using decentralized exchanges as well. So we can see here that BNB chain has a huge amount of scam applications built on the network, so you just need to be incredibly careful. Do your due diligence. The best way to do it is get involved in the community, go through the original links, take a look at their Telegram group, see if it's full of bots or it's actually full of users interested in the thing. It's very difficult sometimes to notice the difference between a legitimate project and a scam project, but you just need to be careful and try and do as much due diligence as possible. Always diversify. Don't invest everything into a really low cap coin that you've heard on the Telegram group it's going to do a 200,000x. Just be incredibly careful in the cryptocurrency space. And that's the overall summary of this. And also take a look at this list as well, because it might help you in the future and may push you away from an investment choice that you were about to make. Let's take a look at the next article we have here. Actually, we want to get onto the Bittrex. I've not put these in the right order. Here we go. We've got SEC likely to sue Bittrex. Let me get this all set up correctly. SEC likely to sue Bittrex despite its plan to shut down. And now we have actually seen the SEC goes after Bittrex with charges of operating an unregistered securities exchange. So they did receive a Wells notice, which is basically a warning that they are about to charge them in some way. We've seen this a couple of times in the cryptocurrency space in the last couple of months, and now Bittrex have received one as well, even though they're shutting down, I believe, on the 30th of April in the US. They are no longer operating, but we can see here Let's move on to the real article where we actually found out that the first one was announcing the rumor and the second one was actually true. So we can see here that Bittrex had earlier announced plans to exit the US market by April the 30th. So they're only operational for another 12 days. Yes, the SEC are going against them and the former CEO, saying they are operating an unregistered national securities exchange, broker and clearing agency. Now we can see here, obviously, if they are classified as securities, then they need to be regulated by the SEC. And recently, Gary Gensler, the chairman of the SEC, has said that every cryptocurrency, apart from Bitcoin, is a security. Now, this is definitely something that's up for debate, especially within the cryptocurrency industry. A lot of people are very unsure whether we can agree with this statement. It's a strong statement to be made, dependent on the Howey test, which is not clear at all, and was created in the 1940s, so definitely shouldn't be adopted for the new technology. But anyway, we can see how this plays out. On Monday, the US SEC announced that it had charged the crypto exchange Bittrex and its co-founder and former CEO for operating an unregistered national securities exchange, broker and clearing agency. So the SEC has also charged Bittrex's international subsidiary, Bittrex Global GmbH, for failing to register as a national securities exchange in connection with its operation of a single shared order book along with Bittrex. So Bittrex served US investors and evaded known rules. So according to the US regulator, from 2017 to 2022, Bittrex earned an estimated $1.3 billion via transaction fees from platform users. Side note here, we can take a look at this and see that Bittrex have made $1.3 billion within the last 5 years. It's absolutely shocking that people like SBF needed to take extra advantage of the opportunity of having use of funds and gaining more money from this. If exchanges are making this much money within a 5-year period, they don't need to go that one step further and use user funds within their trades like SBF did. They can just continue to operate as a functional, regulated cryptocurrency exchange and still make absurd amounts of money. So the amount of greed people like SBF have is absolutely shocking. To then take that one step further and have that $1.3 billion is not enough. Let's check out the next piece of news we've got here. So continuing with this article, first of all, the SEC chairman, Gary Gensler, has said Bittrex and issuers that it worked with knew the rules that applied to them, but they went to great lengths to evade them by directing issuer applicants to scrub, offering materials of information indicating that certain crypto assets were securities. Now, we are seeing the Gary Gensler and the SEC going against different cryptocurrency exchanges right now. We've seen this over and over again within the cryptocurrency space following the FTX collapse. Let's check that everything is running smoothly. It looks like it looks like it's in and out on my end. I hope it's still running smoothly enough on your end so you can see the news and see what's going on. The SEC and Gary Gensler have gone against many different cryptocurrency exchanges within the last couple of months, and now they have gone after Bittrex. They've also gone after Coinbase, which is pretty shocking because they did have a complete audit within the last year or so when they did their IPO. So the fact that they've gone after Coinbase, who are very strong on trying to conform by these regulations, just shows that they're making it very difficult for cryptocurrency companies to continue to grow within the US. And the results of this is that companies moving out of the US are moving to other jurisdictions where they can be regulated in the correct way and continue to move forwards without the fears of the SEC going against them. So we're just seeing cryptocurrency companies moving out of the US right now, and that is not what they need to be doing with this new technology because they're just going to miss out on the opportunities that it brings. We can see here. Let's move on to the next article and see what else is going on in the world of crypto. If you are enjoying today's stream, please don't forget to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. As I said, we do these every single weekday at around 11 a.m. BST time. So if you have enjoyed this, please make sure to like and subscribe. We're on a mission to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And this week we've taken a bit of an upturn. I think it's quite likely now. I'm quite excited to see it. I want one of those big plaques. Let's take a look at this next article here. We have a law firm attempting to serve NBA star and Hall of Famer with a legal complaint over the FTX collapse and has thus far failed to do so. So it looks like he's on the run. A leading national class action law firm on its website and has an array of high-profile cases under its belt. We will skip past this news article. If you want to take a little bit of a look at this, please don't forget to go to cryptosavingexpert.com. Go to the news section. You can get all of that news that is completely reliable and completely for free. And also, you have just missed out by 20 minutes on the cryptocurrency newsletter that comes out every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. BST time. But to make sure you don't miss next week's, make sure to go to cryptosavingexpert.com, press that big blue button there and create an account. And if you tick the box as well when you create an account, I've got this all, here we go, and we press this ticks box here. You can get that newsletter every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. talking about what's gone on in the world of crypto and what's to come in the world of crypto. So it's definitely very informative, and I would definitely recommend it. Let's take a look at the next article here. We have over 1 million Ethereum withdrawn since Shanghai upgrade. Now, this is a funny one, this is, because a lot of people are expecting to see a huge amount of sell pressure following the Shanghai upgrade, because it means people that have staked their Ethereum for months and months now have the ability to unstake. First of all, the doubt I have with that amount of sell pressure is it also means that the network upgrade is complete. So we now have a fully functioning network that allows us to stake and unstake whenever we want. So that attracts new users in the first place. And we have seen some withdrawals. We have seen a huge amount of withdrawals. I'm sure the percentage will be in here somewhere. However, it's not caused that sell pressure that everybody anticipated. First of all, the markets like to take the path of most pain when everyone is expecting downwards movement. The markets like to shoot to the upside. And second of all, we have created that network that allows us to stake and unstake whenever we wish. And third of all, when the markets didn't move in the direction that everyone expected to immediately, everybody then panicked and realized their short positions were wrong. They shouldn't have exited their long position and jumped back into their positive positions and caused the markets to move to the upside. So we can see here, in the days following the highly anticipated Shapella upgrade on the Ethereum network, over 1 million ETH has now been withdrawn from the Beacon chain. Now, most of these investors are actually in a loss. They're not in a profit from their investments from the point in which they actually started to stake their Ethereum. But we can see here they have still unstaked. It doesn't necessarily mean they are going to sell their Ethereum, but they just want quick access to it potentially. So the yield was paid via occurring further ETH, then staked, and thus allowing stakers to compound their holdings. So people were continuing to earn over the last couple of months, performing incredibly well. I mean, I'm going to get involved. I actually hadn't staked on the Ethereum network throughout this period because I like to be able to have access to my funds. And sometimes, I mean, personally, this is only my personal opinion, nothing is financial advice, but I just like to know that I have access to my funds. And the percentage, I think you get 4% if you stake on the Ethereum network. I think we had about 6 months to go when I did consider it, and I thought for 2%, like technically, if I only do it for 6 months, it's not really worth the risk of in case I need access to those funds at that time. So I left. I didn't stake it, but now we have the ability to stake and unstake whenever we wish. It's something that I will consider. And also, we have seen in the last couple of days, I don't think I've pulled up a news article on this today, Apple have released a savings account that has 4.5% interest, I believe, or something around that benchmark, which is incredibly high. So I'm definitely going to take a look at that and see what that's all about. But anyway, back to the news of the day. Completely sidetracked there. So we can see here that we have had a double-edged sword. So the lead up to the event was full of counterparty theories as to whether the upgrade would be bullish or bearish. The bullish case, which played out, was that there was too much fear and anticipation for it to be a sell-off event, and the outcome would be the opposite. A network upgrade is an inherently bullish event, and the bearish case was because ETH, which had been locked and untouchable, would be available for users to sell, albeit not at once. So in the days following the event, ETH rallied to the upside and appears to be extremely strong going into the latter stages of the month. We have seen this. I am going to do a bit of analysis on Ethereum at the end of today's stream. We'll also compare the price of Ethereum and Bitcoin, see why Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin so much. So make sure to stay tuned till the end so you don't miss that. And also don't forget to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button if you are enjoying today's stream. We are currently on, let's see, 18 likes for today's stream. Let's try and get to 25 before we tune out today's stream. We've had over 500 views on both Friday's and Monday's stream this week, so we're gaining attention. If you don't mind hitting that subscription button, I would really appreciate it. It's completely for free, and we're one step closer then to getting that lovely silver plaque that I want to hang on the wall behind me. Let's take a look At the next piece of news here, though, because we will talk about Ethereum later in today's stream, we have US Congressman Warren Davidson plans to introduce bill to remove SEC chairman. So Gary Gensler is under pressure right now. Let's take a look at this. The US Congressman Warren Davidson appears not to be a fan of the SEC's bold actions on the cryptocurrency industry, and on Sunday, the Ohio representative said they're preparing to introduce legislation removing Gary Gensler's role as SEC chair. So we can see that he said, I am introducing legislation that removes the chairman of the SEC and replaces the role with an executive director that reports to the board where authority resides. So in the statement, he said, who he's also referred to as Crypto Mom, opposed the recent move by the commission to reopen comments on an amendment proposal that seeks to bring the decentralized finance protocols under the regulatory purview of the SEC via the Exchange Act rule. So, if for those that didn't tune in yesterday, we did hear that the SEC are looking to amend the definition of an exchange. And if they do so, they're going to broaden the definition, and it means that decentralized finance could be at risk of being defined as an exchange, and therefore needing to be regulated by the SEC. And the concerns with that is that these DeFi then becomes centralized, and then it's like, what's the point? It's decentralized finance. If you make it centralized, it's just finance. So these are the concerns that we are having, and we are seeing some objections to this. We did expect to see some objections. We spoke about this in yesterday's stream, hoping some strong objections would come our way, and this is exactly what we've seen. So hopefully something comes of this and they decide to not continue forward with this change of definition for exchange, but we will keep you updated here on the channel, so make sure to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button. Let's take a look at the next article here. I hope the stream is all running smoothly. Let me know. It looks like it's all okay on my end now. We have Grayscale Solana Trust GSOL is now trading on over-the-counter markets. So we can see here that the trust is an investment vehicle that aims to allow investors to gain exposure to the price movement of Solana, so investors can avoid the challenges of buying, storing, and safekeeping the asset directly. So what we are fighting for in the cryptocurrency space is for us to have different vehicles, investment vehicles for traditional investors to get involved in the cryptocurrency industry. Traditional investors typically shy away from cryptocurrency because A, they don't understand it, 2, they think it's too volatile, and I've gone for A, 2, A, B, and C because they don't know how to buy it, they don't know how to store it safely. It's a whole new kettle of fish. Is that what it's called? Kettle of fish? I've got that term really mixed up there. So then we have these traditional investment vehicles that allow them to gain exposure to the space without having any of these concerns. And GSOL is something that they have provided for traditional investors to get exposure to Solana. Solana, I'm not a huge fan of the network, unfortunately, but it's still good that they're creating exposure for traditional investors here. So this is going to track the CoinDesk Solana Price Index, SLX. And at the same time, the investment objective is for the value of the shares to reflect the value of Solana held by the trust, determined by reference to the SLX at 4 p.m. New York time, minus the trust's expenses and other liabilities. So we are seeing traditional investors now being able to get exposure to Solana through Grayscale's trust. Let's move on to the next article now. We have a huge amount of news to discuss today. We have the EU to vote on crypto legislation this week. So on Thursday, the EU will vote to pass our MiCA regulations that set standards for proof of reserves, client protection, and white papers. DeFi and NFTs are largely exempt. So what we are going to see here is on Thursday, we are going to be doing a huge news update on this scenario. So please make sure, if you haven't already, to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button so you don't miss these updates that we do have on Thursday. So on Thursday, after 2.5 years of debates, consultations and amendments, the European Parliament will vote on the final version of the Markets in Crypto Assets text. So it sets out the rules governing the issuance, use and trade of crypto assets within the European Union. It could be fully in effect by Q4 of this year, of next year. It's not 2024 just yet. So this is something that's moving pretty quickly and something we need to take a really close eye at. So stablecoins are categorized as electronic money tokens or as asset reference tokens. And we can see here it will impact stablecoins. We can see here crypto asset service providers will also be affected from this. So this is a huge article that's definitely worth a read if you want to prepare for some movements that we could see on Thursday. And also on Thursday, we will be going through everything that is going on within the cryptocurrency space. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Let's move on to the next one. If you do want to get up to date on that, make sure to go to cryptosavingexpert.com and read the latest cryptocurrency news. We can see here quickly that crypto exchange Bybit has moved its global headquarters to Dubai. Now, previously, I believe it was a Singapore based, yes, they've moved from Singapore and they've now moved to Dubai. So in principle, approval to conduct a full spectrum of virtual asset business in Dubai. Dubai has really become a big hotspot for cryptocurrency users and companies. Let's move on to the next one though. We have Michael Saylor converts his corporate email address into a Bitcoin Lightning address. So with the Lightning address integration into Saylor's email address, Bitcoin users can now send Bitcoin to him without copying his wallet address if you so wanted to. I don't know why you'd want to send Bitcoin to Michael Saylor. He's helped gain attention for the space, but I don't think anything we could send him would impact him massively. But there we are. Let's move on to the final one here. We have Carbon Network advises elastic liquidity providers to withdraw their funds as a vulnerability was discovered. So just something to be careful about there. Again, we're not going to go into too much detail on that article, but just be careful there. I wanted to point it out anyway, just in case. Let's move on to some Bitcoin and cryptocurrency news. Let's see what's going on here. Very, very interesting. So we might actually have, just from looking at this now, some live analysis on the stream. We could be having, what we have here is we can take the levels of resistance from this point here, this point here, this point here, and here, and you can see this is where we started sort of wick down to at this point. So this is a crucial level here at 29,150. Major level of support that I am looking at on the Bitcoin chart is something I've pointed out a couple of times now on the channel. If we go back to June, July of 2021, the lowest daily candle closed back here during this dip from the highs of $62,000 was at this exact point. So we can see here, if we go to the 4-hour chart here, at the 4-hour chart, we've bounced that already really, really nicely in the most recent data. So this is still a very crucial level. And we can see here on the 1-hour chart, we've bounced it multiple times as a support. And then broke down below it. We then did actually get rejected by it as a resistance, but now it looks like we're moving forwards again. So hopefully we can keep this level as a support because I believe it is pretty strong. If we take a look at the daily chart, we have unfortunately closed a daily candle below it, but we have seen a bounce now and we are seeing a positive day after a bit of a red day yesterday. Let's take a look at the Ethereum chart here quickly because Ethereum has been performing pretty nicely and holding up despite Bitcoin having a bit of a shakeout yesterday. If we take a look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, Ethereum has been outperforming Bitcoin massively. We've also seen Bitcoin being rejected from that 49% market cap dominance. So the Bitcoin dominance within the markets has been rejected within the last couple of days, but Ethereum is holding strong. Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin, and some of the altcoins are performing incredibly well as well. If we take a look at Crypto Saving Expert, we can see in the last 24 hours, it's green, green, green. So it's not a bad time to be in crypto right now, not a bad time to be exposed to the altcoin market. Ethereum has been performing incredibly well. So I'm just keeping an eye on my levels of support, on my levels of resistance, and seeing if we have any movements within those ranges and taking advantage of those movements when we can. But that is really all we have for today's stream. It's been a pretty fast live stream today. I hope you have all enjoyed this quick cryptocurrency wrap up. Thank you very much for tuning in once again. Tomorrow I will hopefully have my internet connection sorted a little bit better. But thank you very much for staying throughout those complications, and I will see you all back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. BST time. See you then.